Good evening, children. Uh, Today we'll start the next chapter, that is chapter number 10, a case study of Akbar. As we have discussed in the previous chapter about various Mughal king, and in this chapter we shall discuss only about Akbar. Now, I won't be able to put any more videos for you because of some technical issues, so we'll go with this voice. What we shall learn in this chapter is about Akbar. Now, the source of information that we get about Akbar and his rule and his administration style, all those things we get it from a book known as Akbar Nama. So remember, Akbar Nama is the chief source of information all about Akbar. Now, Akbar was born in the year, remember in the last class I told you where he was born and in which year he was born? Okay, Akbar was born in the year 1542 AD and he was the son of Humayun, and he was born in Amarkot, that is presently in Pakistan, that is Sindh. Now, Akbar is regarded one of the most greatest and famous Mughal ruler of the medieval period, and he ruled over a very vast empire. And unlike his successor or predecessor, he was actually like a guardian of his subject, that is his people. He did many welfare to uplift his people, and he also followed a very liberal policy of religious tolerance, and he respected every faith, everyone in his kingdom. So now let's start with his early life. So we know that Akbar was the son of Humayun and the grandson of Babur, who was born in the year 1542 AD in Amarkot. Now, when Akbar was born, his father Humayun was wandering from place to place because he has lost the throne of Delhi in the hands of Sher Shah Suri. But later on, when Humayun was able to recapture Delhi and became the king, Humayun could not rule his kingdom for a long time. His second spell, he could not rule it for a long time. He became the king in the year 1555 and he died in the year 1556. And that very year, Akbar became the king. But the interesting thing is that when Akbar sat on the throne or became the king, he was just a 14-year-old lad boy. And so, to look after his affairs, to control, to take the decision on his behalf, one of the most trusted friend of Humayun, his name was Bairam Khan. So Bairam Khan became the guardian of Akbar because Akbar was too young to hold an empire. So as we know that when Akbar became the king, he was too young and as well as he was not very strong. But somewhere after becoming the king, Akbar had to face many challenges. And soon after Humayun's death, one of Humayun's greatest powerful general, whose name was Hemu. So Hemu planned to conquer the Mughal Empire. So since when Humayun died, Akbar was not here in India in the kingdom. So Hemu, one of his able general, captured and occupied both Delhi and Agra. Now Akbar wanted his father's kingdom back. So, along with Behram Khan, in fact, Behram Khan was the overall in charge because Akbar was a young boy. So, they decided to attack the army of Hemu. Thus, in the year 1556, in the same year, Behram Khan marched towards Delhi to capture. And thus, these two armies, the armies of Akbar and the armies of Hemu, met for the second time in a place called Panipat. And so, the second battle of Panipat was fought in the year 1556 between Hemu and Akbar. And the outcome of the battle was Hemu was defeated and Akbar was able to recapture Delhi and Agra. And thus, the second battle of Panipat once again changed the course of the Indian history. And the Mughal once again came to be more firmly and establish a strong position in India. So if you remember, the first battle of Panipat was fought in the year 1526 AD. That was between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur. And this is second battle of Panipat fought in the year 1556 between Akbar and Hemu, in which Akbar won the battle. Now, before jumping on to the next topic, that is his policy of conquest, just like his predecessors, Humayun Akbar, who also followed the same expansion policy, or any other Mughal king, which we have discussed in the previous class, we saw that all the Mughal king continued their expansion policy, that is, to attack the nearby kingdom and annex it to Mughals empire and make it bigger. Now before that, let's recall what we have discussed here. So we discussed about Akbar's date of birth, when he was born. Then we discussed about Akbar's legal guardian, or you can say his ally, that is Behram Khan. And who was Behram Khan? Behram Khan was one of the most trusted friend of Akbar's father, that is Humayun. Then we also learned that Akbar became the king at a very young age, that is at the age of 14. Then we also discussed about the second battle of Panipat, which was fought between Akbar and Hemu in the year 1556. And the result was Akbar won the battle. Now we shall discuss about Akbar's policy of conquest. And one more thing, children, I would like to tell you. In the history part in your social science book, page number 55, there are some important dates. So make sure that you remember or note down the dates, that important events that took place during Akbar's reign. I'll just say tell out some few. Sorry. So, the Battle of Panipat, you have to remember the date. Then, Battle of Haldigati. Then, he also introduced Din-i-Ilahi. We'll discuss what is Din-i-Ilahi in the later part of the chapter. Then, the conquest of Ahmednagar, conquest of Sindh, and at last, the date of his death. So, remember these dates over here in page number 55. Now we'll learn or we'll discuss about Akbar's policy of conquest. So having established himself on the throne of Delhi, so Akbar now decided to expand his empire. So he started conquering his nearby kingdoms, starting from Malwa. So he defeated the king of Malwa, Amber, Ranthambore, Kalinjar, Bikaner, Jaisalmer, Gujarat, and a long list is there. Up to the west, Balochistan, Kandahar, Kabul, all these kingdoms were defeated by Akbar with the help of Bairam Khan. But the kingdom of southern India, resisted the advance of Akbar for 8 years. So for 8 years, Akbar was not able to defeat the ruler of southern India. But finally, the Mughal were able to defeat and capture Kandesh, Berar, and part of the kingdom of Ahmednagar. Now, Ahmednagar was not ruled by a king at the time. It was ruled by a queen, the courageous queen of Ahmednagar, whose name was Chand Bibi. And she very courageously defended her kingdom and did not allow the Mughal to capture it and annexed it to their kingdom. But in the year 1680, 1600 AD, after the death of Chand Bibi, the city of Ahmednagar was also annexed by Akbar. So these are few kingdoms which Akbar conquered and annexed it to his empire. So we can say that Akbar's empire extended from Afghanistan in the west to the Bay of Bengal in the east, and from the Himalayas in the north to the Vindhyas in the south. So this was the extension of Akbar's large Mughal empire, and his whole empire consisted of 15 subas. If you remember, in the previous class we discussed, I told you a little bit about subas. Now, subas can be considered as the present modern day states. So we call states now. At the time, Akbar divided his kingdom into subas. They were all a total of 15 subas. And subas were further divided into sarkars and sarkars into parganas. We'll discuss about his administration in the later part of the chapter. So this was Akbar's conquest policy and the extension of his empire. Now we'll discuss about Akbar's religious policy. Now Akbar was a very liberal minded person. Although his father was a Sunni and his mother was a Shia. Now you might be thinking, what is Shia and Sunni? Shia and Sunni are two sects of Islam. They both believe in Allah and believe in Quran, but there are some different methods in worshipping and believing in the messenger of God. But Akbar was very much influenced by Sheikh Mubarak. Now, Sheikh Mubarak was a liberal thinker. So Akbar was very much influenced by him, and as well as his two sons, Sheikh Mubarak's two sons, Abul Fazl and Faizi. So Akbar was very liberal in his outlook, and he believed that all the people living in his kingdom can live together peacefully, irrespective of different caste, community or religion. And he also gave full freedom to the people of his kingdom, be of any religion. He gave them full freedom to practice their religion, and also permitted them to build their house of worship, like temples, and also to celebrate their religious festivals freely. Then Akbar also abolished few taxes. One of the tax was jizya tax. Now, what is jizya tax? Now, jizya tax is actually a pilgrimage tax where a non-Muslim, that is Hindu or any other religion, had to pay a tax to the Mughal king whenever they want to go and visit their religious place. That was jizya tax. But when Akbar became the king, he abolished this jizya tax. Then, to maintain a good relation with other communities and tribes, Akbar also gave important positions to the Hindus, to Muslims, and as well as to the Rajputs. Like Todarmal, Birbal, Bhagwan Das, and Man Singh were some of the Hindus who were given an important position in Akbar's administration and as well as in the army. In fact, Akbar himself married a Rajput princess and allowed her to worship according to Hindu customs. And for this, Akbar was respected by every people of different religion in his kingdom because of his liberal religious policy. So I hope you understood up to here. So now let's recall what we have understood till here, or what we have discussed. So we have discussed about Akbar's conquest policy, the kingdoms which he has or had defeated. Then we also discussed about Akbar's empire, the extension of his empire, that is from Afghanistan in the west to the Bay of Bengal in the east, and from the Himalayas in the north to the Vindhyas in the south. Then we also discussed about how Akbar divided his kingdom, that is into Subbas, and Subbas into Sarkars, and Sarkars into Paraganas. Then we also discussed about his liberal religious policy. Unlike his predecessor, Akbar was very liberal in his views. He gave full freedom to every religion in his kingdom. He allowed them to practice their religion and also built their house of worship and celebrate their festivals freely. Then he also abolished many taxes. One is jizya tax, which the non-Muslim had to pay. Then he also abolished pilgrimage tax, that is, when someone wants to visit their religious place, then they had to pay taxes. But when Akbar became the king, he also abolished that. Then he gave many high positions to Hindus in his court as well as in the army, and he himself married a Rajput princess and allowed her to worship according to Hindu customs. And for all these reasons, Akbar was very much respected. So that's all for today. In the next video online classes, you will learn about his religion that he has introduced. Then we'll learn about Ibadat Khana. We'll also learn about his other achievements, his relation with the Rajputs. Thank you.